Good evening, World Mobile host, and good evening, Antonio Gregory.
Good evening, Micky. How are you?
Mike, I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
Where's my music? Where's my music?
Pantera.
I'm not sure. Whenever I don't know, for some reason, whenever I start the spaces, it has my microphone on. I'm not sure why the music does not play. It's a bit disappointing.
Good evening. It is working. I was just telling the team it's not working, but it is. Welcome back.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah,
It's working.
it's there we go. Sorry, was that a pun? To be expected. It's what happens. Oh dear. Welcome back, everybody. Mobilers. See some familiar faces in the audience and some new faces as well. Very special edition of the World Mobile Community Update for July on Twitter Spaces or X Spaces, or maybe it's Spaces X. Not too sure yet. Figuring it out. It's been a momentous month with some of the biggest milestones in World Mobile history. We secured licensed spectrum in the USA, announced our partnership with Conflux, who are joining us this evening, this afternoon, or this morning, wherever you're based. We've also joined the HAPS Alliance, so expect us to cover all of these points and much more over the next hour to 90 minutes or so.
Definitely going to be an exciting one.
Right, I think.
If at World Mobile every day feels like it's a month in the best way, we managed to achieve a lot, make great partnerships, and changing the world.
Right, I think everybody's here. Let's do a round of introductions because we'll have a lot of new people joining this time. Hello to all of the Conflux community who are joining us this evening. I'm Mike. I'm Mike Blake-Crawford. I'm the marketing director at World Mobile. I look after everything community and work across the telco side of communications as well. Hand over to Micky.
Good evening, everybody, and especially the Conflux crew. I'm Micky Watkins. I'm the CEO of World Mobile. Handing over to James Tagg.
Hi, yeah, I'm James Tagg. I'm Chief Architect of Oertel.
Antonio.
Hello, I'm Antonio. I'm the CTO in charge of all the software building that's happening inside World Mobile. I'm very pleased to be here tonight.
Mr. Andrew Soper.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for spending your time with us. Andrew Soper, one of the co-founders of World Mobile. I look after a lot of country operations and a lot of governance issues, so supporting a lot of things throughout the company.
Alan Omnet.
Hi, I'm Omnet, Chief Operating Officer, in charge of planning, organising, strategy and delivery of services.
Hannah?
Hi, everybody. I'm Hannah, and I am the head of content for World Mobile. So a lot of the content that you see is some of the stuff that I oversee as well. Nice to be here with everybody.
And least but not last from our team, before we give the Conflux team a chance to introduce themselves, Mr. Gregory.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. It's a great privilege to be here again, especially as I've morphed since the last one into becoming the head of aerial platforms. Not the things that antennas are stuck on, although they are, but anything that's flying. So anything in the air, which doesn't involve radios or antennas themselves, that's what I'm all about. So Aerostats, HAPS platforms, and other aerial platforms which you'll hear more about later and in the coming weeks.
Fantastic. And hand over to Chris from Conflux. You want to say hello?
Yes, thanks, Mike. Hey, everyone, and hi, World Mobile team. My name is Chris. I'm the Global Expansion Lead at Conflux Network, a Layer 1 blockchain network. And yeah, we're super excited to partner up with World Mobile. And I'm super excited to share with the community on what Conflux is up to and what we wished or what we are working towards with this partnership. Thanks for having me here today.
We're delighted to have you, and we're really excited to work together over the coming weeks and months. So where to start has to be Spectrum. Licensed Spectrum secured in the USA. It was a huge moment in the history of World Mobile. Micky, James, can you tell us a bit more about what this means for World Mobile and our plans moving forward?
Technically, it means that we're able to broadcast Spectrum across the states that we're in, which is Nevada, some of California, New Mexico, and Utah, directly to people's handsets. We have a total coverage of around 2 million people, with a footfall that's much, much bigger, domestic and international tourists. So this allows us to enter into the USA along with unlicensed Spectrum, CBRS, and make a big impact, potentially bringing on millions and millions of people or wholesale revenue into the network, which is key to the sharing economy.
Incredible. And 20 megahertz of spectrum secured across California, New Mexico, Nevada, and Utah. Can you expand on any other details about the spectrum that we've secured?
Yeah, so we've basically got 3 markets, and those 3 markets are in those states that you said. So in the Reno market, which is basically northern Nevada, which includes California, but until you hit the mountains, then we have the G block, and then the other 2 markets we have the F and G block, and the other 2 markets are St. George, which is Utah and Nevada. That's middle Nevada, and then we also have a place called Espanola, which is Taos, which is over in New Mexico. So we have some quite cool things in those footprints. We obviously have downtown Reno, which is pretty vibrant. We also have the northern side of Lake Tahoe, which is cool. We have the entrance to Sequoia National Park and Yosemite National Park. We also have a bunch of other Utah national parks, including the one that's got all the dinosaurs in it, which is quite fun. We also have I think we have the Nevada test site as well. So we have just a lot of, from Oppenheimer. Certainly we have one of those. So we have quite a lot of interesting places in our coverage and an obligation to go cover them.
Just
incredible.
Sorry, Mike, over talking you there. Just to add to that, some of the venues that we've identified using Scan for Points ourselves and other coverage maps, they're places with visits totaling 25 million people. Sparks, for example, 4.6 million people. Elko, 2.2 million people. eSparks, in the venues that we've identified where we will launch Operation Airnode, 5.4 million people. We've even managed to get it down to dwell time, so we know international tourists, domestic tourists, local people. We're really taking this at a very scientific level in order to be able to maximize the sharing economy. That list goes on. We have about 500 or 600 rows in our database, and that they will make up the first places in which Operation Airnode will launch.
So just building on that, I heard there are some people already driving around these areas with Scan for Points active, right?
We've got some private beta testers. I don't want to make anybody too jealous because the Scan for Points app is pretty wonderful. But yeah, we're mapping pretty much 24/7 at the moment with different people, different drivers, and the information coming back. We've actually these 4 markets that we've started off in. there is lots of Swiss cheese, and there is also a lot of rural connectivity that's needed. So it's perfect. It's perfect for us, and it's perfect for the people that are about to be connected, and perfect for our community who are going to be running Operation Airnode and the sharing economy themselves. It's super exciting times to see all this data coming back on a map and validate everything that we've been saying for the last 4 years.
Yeah, maybe a question for James. Taking it really back to basics. What exactly is spectrum, and how does it work?
Okay, what is spectrum? Spectrum is light. We have different frequencies of light. So the frequency that we see in light is pretty high frequency. But if you listen to an AM radio, that's very low frequency. And so you go all the way from very low frequency light, which obviously we can't see, all the way up through the high frequency light, which we can see. And then above high frequency light, we have X-rays that see through our body and so on. It's all the same stuff, electromagnetic waves that propagate, as we know from Einstein, not through the ether, but they just propagate through space, right? And that's how all of the communication we do on all radios are done. And there's only one of it. There's only one spectrum, right? And so you get given a little section of it. It's like going into a supermarket and say, right, you can have these shelves over here to sell your product, right? So there's a lot of spectrum. Some of it's better than other spectrum because some of it's effectively, using the analogy, nearer the checkouts or nearer the front door. So there's good spectrum and bad spectrum. But there's, once you've filled it up, you've filled it up. So it's licensed by the FCC. It's generally sold for billions and billions of dollars. The US spectrum, if you buy the whole lot's probably going to set you back $400 billion. We have not bought the whole lot or anywhere near it. We've just bought a sort of proportion. The bit of spectrum that we have used to be used for TV in the USA. Americans don't watch TV anymore. We watch cable and Netflix and YouTube and stuff like that. And so the spectrum was not being used, and it was repurposed for cellular communications. It's called Band 71. It has a nickname called digital dividend. And so this spectrum just became available in the last few years. It is probably the best spectrum. It is near the checkout quality spectrum, which means it goes the furthest of any cellular spectrum that we have. And what else is nice about it? It's relatively straightforward to work with because it's quite low frequency. It's like going back to when I made sort of AM radios. So it's not AM, it's FM, but it's a fairly straightforward spectrum to work with. So that's what we've got, and that's what we're lighting up. So is that?
I think a fun fact to add there is, whilst that spectrum in the United States that does cost billions and billions of dollars and has only just been freed up, I often talk about the continent of Africa, and you know that our love for the continent of Africa is massive, and that's where World Mobile was truly born. In Kenya, for example, using TV white space is an unlicensed spectrum. So the same spectrum that we're using there is the same spectrum that we're using in the United States. It just happens to be a lot more expensive in the United States rather than just a service charge in Africa. But what the big difference is that in Kenya and Malawi, Mozambique, and the other countries that have been very pioneering in releasing unlicensed spectrum, there are no handsets that support it. So you can't use it for direct to handset in most cases unless you're traveling tourists, unless you're catering for travelers that are coming in from the USA or coming in from the Caribbean or coming in from certain zones. So in those countries, we use that as a backhaul to be able to connect people in rural areas from one central mast or several masts. And then as a front haul, we're using Wi-Fi or whatever other spectrum. But the contrast of the fact that it costs in the United States billions and billions of dollars to acquire this spectrum, whereas it's free to use in the African continent, is very interesting for me. I'm sure for everybody else.
Incredible. And in the announcement, we talked about that we were going to become I think there's a 50-second mobile network operator in the USA, and that was pending approval by the FCC. What's the next steps with that? Are we waiting for anything?
Yeah, so technically what happened, the FCC, when you get spectrum from someone, the FCC has to approve it. So you apply and they say yes. So they did say yes, so then we have spectrum. Then once you have spectrum, you are a mobile operator, right? In law, you are now an operator. You then apply to the GSMA, which is the industry body that runs cellular throughout the world, does all the roaming between operators and all that sort of stuff. And you say, oh, we'd like to now be a full member of the GSMA. And we're in the process of doing that. And when they say, they actually don't really have a choice to say, yes, you have spectrum, you can be a member, right? So we will get that officially up on their site in the next probably 4 to 6 weeks. And that will be the 52nd operator that is a full member of the GSMA and is a US.
What a milestone. And I've been learning a little bit about this in the background. And one thing I thought was quite interesting, I read that we've also secured a particularly memorable, it's called MNC, Mobile Network Code. What number is it, Micky?
420 is the number.
420
is the number. A great number.
It's a great number. It really is. I'm sure many people in the community will agree. Okay, and so spectrum secured. So what does this mean for air nodes on the ground in the USA, and in particular air node sales?
It means we stick to our plan. Previously, we knew we were going for this spectrum. It took us a long time to secure. We had to keep things really quiet. But we've always known we're doing Operation Air Node, and it's always been a consideration for Operation Air Node. So everything is going ahead as expected. Exciting times, and we can expect to see Operation Air Node opening very shortly.
Exciting times. And also in the United States, we've been working quite closely with the University of Southern California in San Diego. Is that right, James? Yeah. What's the latest on that partnership and the quantum antenna?
Well, we're building a range of antennas with them, actually. So I mean, been doing to start with, building the, I won't make a claim, I might make a claim later, but what we're trying to do is to make the best antenna you can in principle make, so the most efficient antenna. So we all know that with CBRS you're limited in the amount of power you can do, so the only real trick you can do is just make a really good system, so a very efficient system and a very efficient antenna. So we've built this very efficient antenna, which we're about to go into live test with. We've done all of the lab tests on it, and that's the one that we then print as an array and hoist up onto Aerostat or high mountains to give us capacity. And then, as you all know, well, some of you know, I built a quantum computer in my garage during COVID when I couldn't do anything else. And there is a way that you can use that to make a type of antenna that is more sensitive. And so I've been working on that for some time now, and that is going that is promising, right? That's going well. It's promising. At some point, we'll make an announcement and make some claims about it, but that's the best I should say at the moment. But the hardware antenna is looking great, right? We can now make them fairly quickly. They're really inexpensive, and they're super sensitive.
Exciting times. We got the best antennas. Not only have we secured spectrum, but it's the best spectrum.
I'll be able to say now, let's not say I have the best antenna yet. Right? I have a
and not only that,
we've got the best antennas. James has been very modest, but we need to take it out of the lab onto the field and actually see it. But we expect to break records with these antennas. What kind of records we won't tell you, but you'll see. And I think that this should make international press for sure.
You heard it here first. Best antennas, best spectrum, and officially the 52nd mobile network operator in the USA with the network code of 420. Incredible milestone reach, but it didn't stop there. In addition to securing licensed spectrum in the USA, we also announced an incredible partnership in the past couple of weeks, and this partnership really supports World Mobile's vision across the world in Asia and Africa, and it also marks the first time that World Mobile token is actually being bridged outside of the Cardano ecosystem. And to talk about this, I've got Christian Oertel from Conflux, who's the ecosystem expansion lead. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Give us a bit more of a background of yourself, and we'd love to hear more about the vision and mission of Conflux Network, and especially how it aims to solve the blockchain trilemma and offer a network that is secure, scalable, and decentralized. Chris, have we still got you? You're still on mute.
Could be a connection problem.
It
You're
could be.
You're in the right place with the right team.
I think he's in Malaga at the moment in southern Spain, so that's definitely an area. If somebody's got scan for points nearby, please take it to Malaga, and we can identify these black spots. While we wait for Chris to regain connection, I think it's worth just touching upon World Mobile and World Mobile Tokens cross-chain ambitions. Antonio, just to build on that, Conflux marks the first bridge outside the Cardano ecosystem. But, why is World Mobile pursuing interoperability?
Well, it was always part of the vision, right? We are not only connecting the remote areas of the world that are unconnected, and the areas on the not so remote that are having the problem with the switch cheese spots of line connection. We are also connecting unconnected ecosystems. And as you know, every blockchain has a set of advantages and disadvantages. Not a single chain is built as the best solution for everything. And we always believe that interconnecting to different chains will bring not only those ecosystems into our own, so we can bridge them together. It will give developers the possibility to also build in a way that they can take advantage of the best things of the different chains existing. So if you are a maxi from any chain, we support you, and we don't tell you shouldn't be a maxi. We don't believe that a single chain will dominate everything, but we want to support anybody to build on any chain and take the advantages of that chain offers. So that's the main goal on a technical point of view. Then I'm sure that Micky or Alan can give you more of a view on the business side of things. But World Mobile has always this vision of interconnection and interoperability of the chains, as well as Charles Hoskinson himself, the head of Cardano. Himself, he says interoperability is one of the keys for the blockchain ecosystem to thrive. We cannot be on silos. We need to work together, and we are putting a little stone into this big construction that the blockchain wall is.
And speaking of maxis, we've got a Conflux maxi with Chris, who is now back with us. Just been chatting to him on Telegram. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. If you could please give us an introduction to Conflux Network and how it aims to solve the blockchain trilemma and offer that network which is secure, scalable, and decentralized.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
We can,
Now
loud and
we hear
clear.
you. Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Welcome.
Great to have you.
Thanks, guys. Sorry, I tried to make a point today about connectivity, how we want to enable it, and now, therefore, I use the mobile internet for today's call, and it seemed like I made a big mistake there. But I'm super happy that you guys can hear me now. And yeah, so I'll give a quick intro about myself and Conflux Network. About myself, I think, I gave it before already, but now my name is Chris for everyone who came in late. I'm the global expansion lead at Conflux Network, and essentially what it means is growth, marketing, education, incubation, and business development, all for the ecosystem of Conflux Network to make it grow more sustainable and with a long-term vision. So what Conflux is, our vision and slogan is Conflux enables creators, communities, and markets to connect across borders and protocols. Essentially, it boils down to 2 points: the mass adoption of blockchain technology and its implementation in the everyday tech for different target audiences. So if we talk about DeFi, it means for people who are financial savvy, and that's a big point, that's a big part, and that's the most part of what most people understand of the Web3 space. But the other part is just like using the internet, that you use blockchain technology on a daily basis. And how we enable this is via our unique tree graph consensus that is secured by a proof of work plus proof of stake hybrid consensus that we have developed in order to lower the consensus threshold in terms of hardware and its accessibility. Yeah, these are just 2 quick introductions. I can elaborate more if I should. Mike, should I elaborate more?
Yeah, please do. It's fascinating to learn more, and our community have been so excited to delve into the Conflux ecosystem. So please continue. I think one thing that we were quite interested in is that Conflux is the first regulatory compliant blockchain in China. And I guess from my perspective, how big is blockchain in China at the moment? And can you provide some examples of how you've activated Conflux within the Chinese markets?
Okay, got it. So I shall elaborate. So the first thing I'd like to talk about, and that's the first thing that actually got Conflux Network started, is our tree graph algorithm. So it adapts a direct acrylic graph, short DAG model, so that all forked blocks are included to increase the throughput and nothing is wasted. Just to give you a fact or like a number, when we look at Bitcoin or Ethereum, and Ethereum when it still was proof of work, the amount of wasted resources was around 85%, and with Conflux or the tree graph consensus, it's only at 2%. And then we started off because we believed, we started off with proof of work because we're strong believers of the Nakamoto consensus that came with Bitcoin. And since then, last year, we have upgraded it to a proof of work plus proof of stake hybrid network, so that the proof of stake can counter potential 51% attacks that is a risk that comes with the proof of work. And why we did that, just to sum it up, the proof of work's advantage is security and reliability, and the proof of stake's advantage is efficiency that further increases the security of the network because it brings finality to the transactions. Another thing that I think we'll talk a bit more about later on as well, but I wanted to mention now, is one of the key features that we implemented back in 2019. Back in 2019 was the transaction sponsorship mechanism that makes it easier to onboard. But all in all, we're super happy to be here and have this call today to not only talk about Conflux Network, but also the partnership with World Mobile. And I
Definitely.
think for
And
that, we also have a couple of follow-up questions to discuss it more in depth.
well, I mean, one of the most exciting aspects of the partnership is our shared interest in telecommunications. And one thing that's really resonated with
so how big
mobile.
is blockchain in China at the moment? So blockchain has always been a thing since Bitcoin started in China in 2013. And that came because of the whole mining industry. So for anyone who has been long enough in the space, you probably know that back a couple of years back, 60% of Bitcoin's proof of work hash rate was all coming from China. And we also, a lot of ICOs were started off in China, and Beijing was sort of a Silicon Valley for blockchain companies back in 2017. However, a lot has changed because there have been many scams. China had a ban on the ICOs, and China also said no to proof of work mining there. But that does not mean that blockchain technology stopped in China. Actually, in 2015, China actually officially said, okay, we want to push the technology forward. So they started off sandboxes in different regions in China to look and work on use cases, how to embed blockchain technology. And actually, since last year, 2022, many regions and also Shanghai, where Conflux headquarters is, said that, okay, NFTs are fully legal, but with a caveat. The first caveat is if you transfer them, you cannot touch ERC20 tokens, so USDT, Ethereum, or our own mainnet token called CFX. And the second thing is, if you want to pay for them, you need to pay them via fiat. And the fiat payments in China is honestly, like only people who have been in China would know how advanced it is in comparison to other regions of the world. Like we just go out with a mobile phone and everything is paid via QR code. You go to a market, you buy one, I don't know, tomato for 20 cents. You just scan a code, you do the payment and it's done. And so it's all via WeChat or Alipay. That's an app that literally everyone has in China, so adopted by 1.4 million people. And this needs to be combined with the blockchain network itself. So we created a technology mechanism called fiat to NFT, where users in China can buy NFTs from another user or from a different company that issues the NFTs to enable an on-chain transaction and secure the payment. So everything there in China is now done via fiat payments surrounding NFTs. And with this caveat, what happened in China is that many new and old companies, especially Web2 companies, started to develop and deploy NFT products. And it's back then they started off with, okay, we want to do something that's similar to a BAYC, like a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, to create a community and hope that the value goes through the roof and people can exchange. But since then, it has also become a great marketing tool for companies. But also, it also enables communities in the backend. So, for example, there is a Chinese Discord called Dudu. And if you, as an NFT holder of a particular collection, connect your wallet with Dudu, you're automatically connected to a community of like-minded people. And that boils down to not only like an art collection of an artist, but also like maybe you've run a marathon in Hangzhou, a city close to Shanghai. And after that, you get a memorial NFT. And after that, you can connect with the people who ran the same marathon, who had the same experiences as yourself. to participate and connect. And that's super easy because, honestly speaking, if the NFTs are meant for the long term. And you might think, okay, like the storage of an NFT is way cheaper on a centralized server. But if you do the calculations, anything, the break-even point is around 10 to 15 years, depending on where you are for one single picture stored on a centralized server. So if you have a long-term vision, especially of NFTs that are supposed to be stored permanently, right, then it's even cheaper to actually deploy or store the pictures on a decentralized storage solution. And then there are a couple of two bigger partnerships that I want to talk about now as well. One of them is with the Chinese Instagram, which is called Xiaohongshu. It has around 200 million monthly active users. And because it's Instagram, it has a marketplace, but it's also a place for the young and hip to chill their stuff and show off a bit. And they have the Xiaohongshu, they developed a special space on everyone's profile that displays NFTs, right? And with them integrating Conflux NFTs, users, if I go on for example, your Xiaohongshu profile, I can click on our space and see all the NFTs you are holding. Once you click into them, you can see the hash, the unique ID, and be forwarded to our blockchain explorer if you even want to go deeper into it. But honestly speaking, when it comes to mass adoption, and something probably everyone can relate to, is that you just want to see the picture, but not what's behind it. But for users who actually care about the tag and want to be sure that it is unique, they can see it on the blockchain explorer, and they could also, store it in any wallet that they want in a non-custodial fashion.
Very, very cool, Chris. Chris,
Thanks.
In terms of telecom, you're in good company here. Would you like to tell us what Conflux has been doing in the telecom space?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the next point I wanted to jump into. And that's a partnership and a product that we have been working with China Telecom for the last 3 years already. And that's the blockchain-based SIM card, short BSIM. And what this essentially means is that the SIM card itself works as a ledger, like a cold wallet, a hardware wallet that probably many of the people who are in today's space actually have to store their assets for safety. And this BSIM card would be just plugged into your phone and store your assets or NFTs or DIDs in a non-custodial fashion on your SIM card to make it safer and to give everyone mobile hardware wallet. And that is massive because China Telecom has 390 million users around the world, and the BSIM card was developed and first demoed in May, so 2 months back, where we sent the first transaction based on the BSIM card, and hopefully we'll be starting to roll it out in Hong Kong with the partnership of China Telecom, and then afterwards also to their clients overseas. And many of their clients are actually, not just mobile users, but also, the Internet of Things, so machines, etc., that could have their own identity, and then also, do remittance or payments between different machines automatically. And I think that's not just great for Conflux and the mobile industry, but that's also something that we are looking forward to work together with World Mobile on how to implement that particular BSIM card to push telecommunication adoption forward all around the world.
And we're very excited for that. Thank you very much, Chris, for your insight. And I'm sure there'll be some questions for you later from the crowd.
Absolutely. I'm super happy to answer these questions.
Thank you, Chris. And Antonio, just building on the Conflux partnership, We reference integrating Conflux into the Aya sidechain and then subsequently taking Earthnode capabilities onto the Conflux blockchain. Well, how will that work in practice?
Well, I can give you a brief overview, but the technical details, I think that it's too much to go into it now. But basically, what we are going to create is we are going to bridge not only WMT but also the Earthnode NFTs that the operators want to bridge because they want to operate on Conflux. And once they are there, they could register through a smart contract to operate in that blockchain. And what will happen is that the stakers could, from any chain, stake into your Earthnode seamlessly. So what we are trying to achieve is a multi-chain staking, multi-chain Earthnode operation, and as I said before, if you like more Conflux than Cardano in this example, you could bridge your token, your NFT, into Conflux and start operating there. But nevertheless, if you want to go back or go to another chain, you will be able to do that as well. So right now there's a limitation, technical limitation, where when you want to bridge the token to another chain, you need to stop your Earthnode bridge and then restart your Earthnode. But we are trying to overcome that limitation. It's not a promise. That's I needed to bring my old hashtag back, not a promise. But we're working on it.
Okay, and just for my benefit, so where does Cardano fit in all of this then?
Oh man, Cardano is home. Is where we were born. And Cardano, even beside the ethos and the mission alignment, is the perfect chain to integrate first in our multi-chain vision. Not only because, as I said, because of the ethos, but also because of the nature of the chain. Right? Cardano is not only one of the best research and properly designed and well-built, battle-tested proof of stake consensuses out there. When you're trying to build a multi-chain system, Cardano is great to connect first because of the EUTXO model that makes it very different and more challenging to connect with. Right? The model for Cardano has a very tight execution and storage limitations. So because they want to limit the growth of the chain for sure, and to ensure efficient smart contract execution as well. So that introduces a different set of issues, but also possibilities, as you know, from a similar model like Bitcoin. And once we can connect to Cardano, it's easier for us to connect to any other chain or the rest of the chains, because these restrictions on the other chains are less strict than in Cardano, and preserving the state in other chains is simpler. So once we connect to Cardano, we have the template to connect to almost every chain.
And how many other blockchains are we envisaging bridging to?
All? I don't know. That's we want to bridge to any chain that has significance for us in terms of utility and that has a community that is interested into bridging into this multi-chain vision. I don't know, Micky.
There's a bigger vision, a bigger picture here, right? So how many people do we want to connect? I've personally committed to connecting 1 billion people around the world before 2030. There is no stronger community than the crypto community. The sharing economy needs to reach as many people as possible, both for the deployment of air nodes, but also for people to be able to actually run an Earth node. The beauty of what we're building now allows someone who holds Conflux and is in the Conflux ecosystem to be able to stake to somebody who's running a node on Cardano without even thinking about the chain. So to have the involvement of so many people and so many communities It's only us that's going to fix this problem. If we leave it to the mobile network operators, we leave it to Google, Facebook, they haven't fixed it. And I don't think they can fix it alone. You know my tagline, our tagline, together we're unstoppable. So having all the different communities come together to actually not dream, but do and create mass adoption, this is the perfect platform for it. And interoperability is absolutely the future.
Okay, and to play the pessimist, token bridges have in some cases led to security issues. So how are we tackling ensuring that the bridges remain secure?
So we have reviewed many bridge options, and the one we chose, at least for this initial bridge, has a layer of additional security that makes it a better solution of the others that we have reviewed. And in this case, we're using, it introduces some logistical work, but we're using a hot wallet for the bridge with a reduced amount of liquidity. So in case of something unthinkable happens, the amount of lost funds will be reduced. And then we have a multi-sig call wallet that is used to replenish the hot wallet from the bridge. So we are trying to be very cautious, as we were with our own allocations for WMT initially, that we are secure and we are safe in this wall, and especially with bridges.
I think I may get myself in trouble here as well by saying that Aer itself will be able to do some quite wonderful things, but these wonderful things may take some time. So instead of rushing forward with a solution of our own that is potentially more secure than any other bridge that's ever existed, it's better that we work and mitigate risk with security layers in order to be able to start to bridge across.
You won't get into trouble from me, Micky. You said it perfectly.
And will these bridges impact token supply or NFTs? Like, how are they going to impact those elements?
Well, I guess Alan is the best one to answer that, but the token supply will remain the same. That's a fixed supply. And we have the 2 billion. I get lost with the English to Spanish translation in numbers.
Yeah, that's correct.
WMT. Yeah. So in Spanish is 2,000 million, what you call 2 billion. So yeah. So that's the total amount of WMT that will ever exist, and that won't change because of the bridging.
Fantastic. And while we're on the topic of development and blockchain, I've seen there have been some updates to the roadmap in the last hour or so. What is the latest in terms of the roadmap? The things that I've seen move at the eSIM marketplace, seed phrase display for self-sovereign accounts, and the paper wallet. But what's the latest on the roadmap?
Well, you just mentioned those. We are moving in 2 directions. Well, not in the same direction, but with 2 approaches. One is the small wins that we can add in terms of quick features that are adding good usability and good, to reiterate myself, features to the application and to the whole system, and then on the bigger features that we need to deliver. So we don't want to block our development for a while in a huge feature and then not have any release. We are iterating now that we have the global app almost ready. So we want to be delivering small improvements as well as the big ones.
And what is the latest update on testnet and mainnet? I'm hearing a lot about incentivized testnet at the moment. Do you want to share any details on that?
Well, the details will be shared in the next Earth-Node operators call, the specific details, but I can tell you that we're working 100% in creating that incentivized model of the testnet because we listened to the Earth operators. They want to be more involved and they want to do actual work, and we want them to be able to do so and to reward them for doing so. So more details will come in the Earth operators call, but we are full steam ahead with the incentivation. Oh, my English is lost at this time of the
I
night.
can take over here just to potentially get myself in trouble with Woman and yourself and the
Oh
tech
yeah.
team.
Okay.
So we're toying around now with, what do we call this? Because when the incentivized testnet comes out, it's actually going to be running real traffic. It's going to be running real Zanzibar traffic. It's going to be running the eSIM traffic that we have on the network. It's going to be running Pakistan traffic. So whilst it's a testnet, it's not really a testnet. But you can't call it a mainnet because we don't expect to restart our mainnet. But we know that we have a lot of development moving forwards, and we know that we've got a lot of complex development moving forward. So we're toying with the name of mainnet Lite in order to make sure that people understand that there will be times that we do need to restart this mainnet, this testnet, as we add new features and as we add new chains and as we add new smart contracts and as traffic comes through. So it's kind of a middle ground where it isn't a testnet just running generated traffic. It will be a mainnet running real world mobile traffic. So I know everybody here is waiting for part 2 incentives. Those part 2 incentives are coming very soon. Ready for the launch of the mainnet Lite.
that will get me in trouble, Mickey. Okay, mainnet Lite it is.
Micky, while I've got you, the community beta for our global app has almost concluded. On the last space, we actually released the new UI, which looks incredible. But are there any other new features planned in the near future?
Definitely. We believe that in the next coming months, not lots of months, but in the next coming couple of months, you, myself, and anybody else that has the global app will be able to download a SIM, put it on their device, have it attached to their DID, do IP DR settlement, be able to check their account with complete transparency online on the blockchain, and be able to stake WMT and have extra benefits, extra rewards, reduced prices, better data rates for doing so. So that's one of the major features that we're working towards. And those who will see us at Rare Evo may get a surprise. We're planning to do something quite big there. It may be considered to be a soft launch of the first products that we can sell and that people can use, and that everybody here can have a SIM that they can not only connect to our native infrastructure, the nodes that we have down in the places that we have them down, and the future nodes from the sharing economy of operation air node, but actually travel the world wherever they go with really affordable rates, with all the partnership agreements that we have in place. We're also working very hard to make sure that those partnership agreements we have in place will benefit our air nodes. So we'll be able to provide connectivity maybe at a more affordable rate than their other partners, which will generate revenue into the network, which is the key goal, really, of World Mobile. To make a sharing economy work properly and to make it sustainable, you have to make sure that it's making money. So all of the things that we're doing right now, whether it's scan for points, whether it's the eSIM, whether it's the staking, whether it's the VPN, there's a little teaser there as well, that will come out. They're all designed to generate revenue and provide utility for the people, customers on the World Mobile Network.
I'm sure everybody wants to get their hands on it right away. As I say, the community beta is almost concluded, but what is the release plan then for the global app?
Silence.
Sorry, did you catch that, Micky?
Or does everybody else disappear?
Oh, can you hear me?
I hear you, Mike. Micky,
I don't hear Mike.
you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still with
I
you.
hear Mike.
I hear Mike.
I don't hear Mike.
Micky, I was saying if everybody will want to get their hands on the global app right away, and we are very close to concluding the community beta. But what is the release plan for the global app?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, Micky.
Yeah, could you hear us, Micky?
I can hear you now. I wasn't
Okay.
sure
Can you
if it
hear
was me
me?
or everybody else. Where did I get cut off?
No, can you hear me?
I think,
You
Mickey, you
can't.
had the problem that I had
It's selective.
last time. Yeah, I couldn't hear Mike as well for a while last call, so I had to log off and log in again. So maybe you do that.
It does say he's connecting on my screen. We'll wait for Micky
Just
to.
in terms of the question about the global app, the development team have done an incredible job. It's from an engineering standpoint, it's completed. The user interface feedback has been taken in from the community and revised and is looking really good. So the next step is to actually release it publicly. And the plan there is to do it on a phased approach. So we're starting with a number of countries, including the UK, USA, Canada, and Australia to begin with. And then once we're happy that first round is good, then we start to release to further jurisdictions, Europe and rest of the world. So yeah, you'll see a phased approach. We'll release exactly which countries are coming out first, but we're not going to take too long to release all countries. There are some countries where the features you'll have access to everything, and some countries where there may be some restrictions. Just depends on the regulations. But again, that'll be shared as we release in the different countries.
Exciting times. Micky, can you hear me? Hello?
Micky, you back?
I've been disconnected now.
You're still there.
Mike, you're still with us.
Hello? Oh,
Yes, we hear you, Mike.
Okay, I could be back. Am I back?
You are back, yes.
Okay, it's got to be Elon. I've got to give him a call later on.
Yeah.
It's jealous of the
I think
420. It's
we've
jealous of
got
the
Micky
420
back and we've lost Mike.
MNC
We've
codes.
lost Mike.
Have we
One in,
lost?
one out.
We haven't lost Mike. Have we lost
Yeah,
Mike?
we did.
There he goes. He's requested.
He's coming back.
So I could hear everything that you were saying, and I was talking, and then it was complete silence. So I assumed that you lost me. But
yeah, no, we covered the global app release.
did
plan.
you cover
the
the
last
eSIM?
question?
And did you hear me talking about?
We haven't discussed the eSIM. No.
Okay, so I'll try to make it as epic as it was when I was speaking to myself. But many of the cool things that we're releasing in the mobile application are designed to serve customers. So customers of the World Mobile Network, customers that are going to be using SIM is a really wonderful product that we've got, and we've spent a lot of time finding the right partners, the right bilaterals, the right interconnects to be able to provide an eSIM that not only works on native World Mobile infrastructure, but also works the rest of the world at very affordable rates. And we hope that by September, October, we'll be able to have a full eSIM that anybody can download, travel the world, and as that eSIM passes an air node operator will actually be able to generate revenue in addition to all the other revenue streams we have coming in. Some of the cool features that are happening is the ability to be able to stake WMT to your eSIM in order to be able to have reduced rates, better benefits, larger cashback, and many of the other cool features that we want to promote. So it's a very exciting moment for the global application. Also, you heard it here first. We're working on a VPN that will run across the 1,000 Earth nodes that we have. And we've also got some news to come out pretty soon about a streaming service, specifically in the USA, but also worldwide, that will be working and partnering with us to provide a whole load of value-added services that we want to provide inside the mobile application.
Amazing stuff. I got to turn to
incredible.
Mike for a minute. Oh, Mike's back. There we go. I don't
Yeah,
think.
Elon, I'm not sure what's going on with all of these changes. But
He's
anyway, and it's funny,
letting
all day I've been fighting off. People have been saying, why do we host these spaces on Discord? And I've been waxing lyrical about the benefits of being on Twitter. But I was X, sorry, getting confused there. But starting to regret my intentions. Anyway, US Spectrum secured a partnership with Conflux. eSIM's on the way, and we're still making progress in Zanzibar with, I think it was 412 air nodes that we're up to as of last week. What's the latest on the ground there, and what can we expect for the next few months?
a concentrated focus on B2B. B2B is super exciting right now for the reason that we've actually managed to convince many B2B owners to subsidize their internet by offering B2C service. So a B2B node going up in a certain location can also act for the street and for the crowd outside as a node where they will connect. So that's another stage of fine-tuning the sharing economy. We ourselves are not looking to deploy many more nodes, but we're looking for the sharing economy to deploy nodes. It won't go live on Operation Air Node probably at the same time as the USA and other countries. We'll be offering this to local Zanzibaris who have supported us through our growth period, who supported us through all the learning that we've had to discover and have put up with us. Now it's a really exciting moment from them. As you can see on WMT scan, they're generating revenue, and we think we can bring on a lot of B2B customers because the demand is huge out there, who will actually own their own nodes, own their own backhaul, and be able to broadcast to people on the street. We're also working on licensed spectrum, but this is a long game, not a short game. And of course, there's the Aerostat that is on the ground, waiting to go up, and we're still waiting for news.
Exciting times. And for anyone who wants to learn more about the B2B activity that's happening over in Zanzibar, we're actually doing a little bit of a focus on social media over the next week or so. So if you want to head over to the World Mobile Twitter account, you'll see earlier today we posted a video interviewing one of the business owners out there who is a World Mobile customer. We had one earlier in the week, and we've got a couple more on the way. So really insightful documentary work. And one of those videos was actually one of the videos that I got to shadow the production team on when I was in Zanzibar back in May. So really excited to see that one make it onto the social account. Gregory, congratulations on your new title, and also for your work in taking World Mobile into the HAPS Alliance. But what is the HAPS Alliance, and what does it mean for World Mobile to be part of it?
Well, thank you very much indeed for your congratulations. I'll try not to get aerial platforms and antennas confused. But the thing about the HAPS Alliance that is really, really special, it was founded by HAPS Mobile, which is one of the developers of a HAPS platform, and Google Loon some years ago. But it's designed to bring together the telecommunications industry and the aviation and aerospace industry to put platforms into the stratosphere for the benefit of humanity and industry, and connecting people and enabling them to do things that you can't easily do from space or from the surface of the planet. And although we're a fairly new member, we are sitting alongside the likes of Airbus with their Alto subsidiary that has developed Zephyr, which is the only really successful stratospheric fixed-wing platform at the moment. But we're also sitting alongside Sky, which is a lighter-than-air, it's an airship that operates in the stratosphere that they've test flown a number of times. And some of these are really big players in the industry, like Nokia, Intel, Deutsche Telekom. And we're there because we believe that the stratosphere is an incredibly important part of the layered approach to spreading communications and connecting the unconnected. And we want to not only learn from all of these other people involved in the HAPS Alliance, but we believe we have a significant contribution to make in helping them to understand from our point of view how these platforms can contribute not only to actually providing connectivity, but to the sharing economy as well. And so because our platforms are going to be multi-layered, what we can also do is help the HAPS Alliance understand how those layers can supplement each other rather than compete with each other. And so I think that we're going to be able to make a significant contribution also to the regulatory side. But it's going to take a little bit of time for us to get embedded in the HAPS Alliance properly, start attending working groups and meetings and making our contribution, as well as hearing what everybody else has to say. But it's part of collaborating and partnering with people who in some industries might be seen as our competitors. In our field, we don't see it that way. So for example, back in Barcelona at the Mobile World Congress, I spent a lot of time talking to the Zephyr team, and we had a bit of a laugh over the fact that we're going to have our high altitude assisted balloons in the stratosphere in the same airspace that they're going to have their fixed wing airplane zipping around at high speed. So we did persuade them to consider putting a large red rubber nose on the front of the Zephyr so that if they bump into our high altitude assisted balloons, no one will be hurt or damaged. But looking at it more seriously, I think the technologies involved in both lighter than air and heavier than air platforms in that piece of the sky are very similar. As Micky said in his Cardano spot discussion yesterday, it's a very, very tough environment to be working. You have temperature differentials from one side of a circuit board to the other, measured in hundreds of degrees. It's every bit as difficult to space. You have lightning that goes upwards rather than downwards. And although the wind speeds are very predictable and quite benign, actually the radiation environment and the lightning environment and a whole lot of other aspects of the environment are really challenging. And so developing technologies to operate in that area is incredibly important for all of us who are working to put platforms in the stratosphere. And so I'm really excited about our involvement, and thank you very much for giving me a chance to talk about it. I'd be happy to answer any questions about it when the time comes. Thanks a lot.
So who else is part of the HAPS Alliance, just so I'm clear? You mentioned a few exciting names there.
Yeah, well, they have an excellent website, by the way, hapsalliance.org, which lists the members, including us. But at the top level, you have people like Ericsson and Air Environment, Capgemini Engineering, Autonomous Neom, Sky, and then at our level of membership, we're a bit smaller than some of those. We have, where are we? Strategic, SoftBank, Near Space Labs, GILAT, Carleton University, and a whole host of supporting members. But the big telecoms players like Nokia, Intelsat, Deutsche Telekom bring the telecommunications technology to the table, and Airbus and HAPS Mobile and Sky bring the platform technologies. And we're sort of sitting in the middle because we're not developing platforms ourselves at the moment. We are developing antennas and radio systems, but we're going to be able to work both with the platform companies and with the telecoms companies within the HAPS Alliance to improve and further this capability to roll it out across the globe.
Exciting times at the HAPS Alliance.
I think just to add more context there, the technology that we're building right now in the labs and that James is building with World Mobile, for World Mobile, is the same technology that will fly at 20,000, 25,000 meters. So we're preparing ourselves for the future by being future ready. A lot of the tests, a lot of the things that we're considering as we build in parallel is making sure that we are ready to support Airbus, are ready to support Sky, are ready to support our own manufacturers of airships or altitude platforms.
Absolutely.
So, Micky, while I've got you here, I understand one of the more recent aspects of our global app development has actually been looking at integrating payment providers in Pakistan. But what is the latest status on the ground in Pakistan? You've referenced it a couple of times during this space.
There's quite some users using the network there. As I've said before, in Pakistan, it was the cookie cutter approach. So taking everything that we'd built in Zanzibar and letting it free, not holding hands, not holding reins, but actually letting it move abroad, completely outside of our control. And what we saw in the beginning was very encouraging. And now what we've seen is proof that this works. So WT Scan is waiting for an update, and the update will come very shortly.
Exciting. Can't wait for that one. Right, before we head into our open AMA and tackle some of the questions that came in before this space, I just want to make a couple of dates for your diary. So you've heard us speak about this earlier in the space. We're going to be at Rare Evo in Colorado on the 24th to the 26th of August. So really looking forward to meeting some of you in person and looking forward to having a great time networking and speaking to many other projects within the space. And next week, we will actually be joining Conflux's spaces on Wednesday, August 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we will share a link to that once it's been scheduled, but we look forward to seeing mobilers over there, but also speaking to many of the Conflux community, some of whom have joined us this evening. So before the open AMA, we did receive some questions earlier this week, which we want to run through. We got a few from Logan Storer. The first one asking, could the team elaborate on the current fiat to WMT conversion and distribution mechanisms? My understanding is a centralized entity receives the fiat, converts via the buyback program, and will distribute that as rewards similar to current vault distributions.
I think the answer's in the question, but yes, that's correct. Where the users are buying the fiat, there is depending on which country it's in. If it's a country which, like Tanzania, the fiat's converted to WMTs, and that's bought from the open market. And at the moment, that's sitting in the buyback program vault, and it will get distributed as expected during the launch of the mainnet. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and another question from Logan. He asked, I'm assuming distribution hasn't happened since a greater than zero balance is still shown on WMT scan.
Yeah,
will that be implemented via IO once mainnet is active?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. What is the game plan to automate, decentralize this mechanism as the network grows?
Yes, well, they're going to be built in smart contracts, and it will automatically distribute those. So yeah, there'll be no manual intervention at that point. It'll be an algorithm which will be pretty public, and then if there's any changes to the algorithm, it'll be shared as to what those changes are.
Okay, and the final one from Logan. Could the team elaborate on rollout strategies? Micky mentioned working with partners since deployment via the World Mobile team will be too time intensive. I'm curious how partners are being compensated. Would that come from partnership token allocation or elsewhere?
Partners are compensated via the sharing economy. So those in Pakistan, for example, if they end up putting up 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 air nodes, or having their own system to go and find air node operators, they will earn part of that revenue themselves. Of course, a partner, if they buy an Earth node NFT and run Earth nodes, they're compensated through the traffic that's generated onto the network and through the value-added services and all of the things that the Earth node does. So it's all of the sharing economy. In terms of tokens, we're not really looking to compensate partners from tokens from the partner pool, unless it's a strategic relationship.
Okay, and a question from Trident. I think we covered this actually, just as if possible to give us more information about the incentives to run testnet. We touched on that earlier. This one from 41. When will it be possible to claim the test Earthnode NFT again, as the link is not working, Antonio?
Yeah, we are reworking the registration smart contract because initially for the testnet, we only allowed one test Earthnode NFT for operator. But we know that there are several operators that have more than one NFT. So we are rebuilding the registration smart contract so we can allow everybody to claim the test NFTs that are equivalent to their mainnet NFTs. So that's in the works right now. It should be done almost immediately, and as soon as we have finished that, we will reopen the registrations, and somebody in the team, potentially Carlos, will get in contact with the Earthnode operators to tell them so and to recollect the new registrations.
Fantastic. And the final question before the open AMA from Nico: will there be an accelerated rollout of Airnodes to focus on the states with the Spectrum license ahead of the Airnode sale launch?
Mike, I lost you there. If that was directed to me, please repeat.
Yeah, will there be an accelerated rollout of Airnodes to focus on the USA with the Spectrum license ahead of the Airnode sale launch?
Definitely. We've been working for the last 2 years to make sure that we can have this explosive growth. It's not just something we say for the sake of saying it because it sounds great. It's the hard work, the effort, the skills, the education that we've needed to gather have definitely been learned in Zanzibar. Of course, in the USA, it's something that is slightly different, but it's something we are working on, and we think, yes, definitely. And just like you said to me earlier on, how do partners get compensated working with them? We also have several partners and opportunities in the USA where they will utilize the world mobile sharing economy on their own backbone, on their own network. So we should see explosive growth come from wireless ISPs and ISPs, as well as everybody that takes part in Operation Airnode and either puts a node up at their house or at a location that we've identified, or locations that we've identified that can actually make an impact and return revenue.
Fantastic. Right, it's time. I think we may have some questions, or some people wanting to ask questions already. I think Alex M is our first speaker. Alex, you're up.
Hello, everyone, and thank you.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Good
evening. Good evening. Thank you actually for bringing me up because I would like to make a statement before asking a few questions. And I would like to address Mr. James Tagg and Gregory. So here it goes. I believe that the two of you are actually doing phenomenal work, and just by someone doing a simple Google search or Wikipedia search, they can find all of your accomplishments. If someone in the crowd or someone that will listen to this recording later, please do so, because I believe you two are on the back seat or the back burner or in the shadows, whatever you're going to call it, and you don't get enough praisal or recognition from the community. I've been paying attention to all the spaces. I've been part of every single Earthnode Alliance space and these ones. And I know you don't get that recognition from the community. So hats off to both of you, because I understand that without you, we would be miles behind. And thank you for your contributions.
All right. That Gregory and James merch line inbound.
Yeah.
Coming to the merch store soon. Quantum Antenna t-shirts.
So
Thank you, Alex, very much indeed. That's really
yeah, you're very welcome. I have a few questions now. One would be for Chris from Conflux. So I heard you mentioned earlier about the eSIM. And what if someone loses their phone and their mobile hardware wallet? What's there? Is there a contingency plan built into that?
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the way it will be rolled out, it's physical SIM card. So it's not an eSIM. I don't know. Maybe I misheard it, but it's a physical SIM card. And most of the times when you get a physical SIM card, you need to do a KYC. So it's a KYC physical SIM card that also has a backing of your seed phrase and the entropy of how it was created. So if you lose it, you can go to China Telecom in this instance and with your identification to prove that that's your SIM card and to be able to recover it. But it's not like a recovery that's like just stored on a centralized computer, right? It will be encrypted and sharded with the information from your identity card and able to create it.
Okay, so maybe as a follow-up question, so the B SIM, since it's a physical SIM, is there a plan for Conflux, I guess, and China Telecom to kind of do the eSIM? Because I think it might be safer. For example, if you lose your phone, you don't have to go all the way to buy a new card and a SIM card and all that.
Yeah, I think that's a very controversial topic, right? And one thing that I'd like to share here is, I guess many people in this space have iPhones, right? And the way the iPhones work in Europe is that you can put in one SIM card, but then you can add 6 different eSIM cards into it with or without KYC. And from what I've read in the internet is that Apple in the US specifically wants to completely move away from the eSIMs. Whereas in Asia and for many IoT applications still as of now, they still have 2 SIM card slots in there. So the SIM card versus eSIM card debacle is still ongoing. But however, for the recovery of the SIM cards for now, the physical one is still, it's still safer, right? So for example, if you have a ledger and you lose the device, you would still need to buy a new ledger and then import the seed phrase into it to make it actually safer. So with the physical one, for now, it's still safer than the digital one. So yeah, that would be my answer here. But I think only time will tell. Maybe one day we'll have a better technology on securing the eSIM cards. But for now, it will be physical SIM card based.
I should point out the SIM, right? An eSIM is almost identical as the image of data that's sitting on your SIM. So it's just like I have a hard drive, I copy the hard drive. The copy of the hard drive is a copy, the hard drive is a hard drive, the hard drive physically is a SIM, the copy of the hard drive is an eSIM. They're logically identical.
Yeah, and this is why I asked James, good point, because technically you take that backup and you can load it to another physical mean in case something happens, but you don't have, you basically cut the middleman. You don't have to go to the store, for example, to buy a new SIM card. You have the option of the eSIM, and therefore you can DIY it basically. It gives you the flexibility as a user to do that. That's why I asked the question.
You've also got some really cool signatures and security protocols that have been developed from SIM cards and from the protocol of SIM cards that can also be brought back to the blockchain, which is quite innovative and something that we're actually working on and that you'll hear more about very soon.
Cool, thanks. And oh, sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I think I'll also check with China Telecom and ask Seek for their answers for now. From my understanding, after the communications with them, is that they will roll this out for people in the first place, and people in Asia, especially starting in Hong Kong, they do need a physical SIM card, and they can only get a physical SIM card in the Hong Kong area for now. From a technology, it might be even easier or simpler to do it via the eSIM route. So I think it will be a matter of time until it will also be rolled out for the eSIM card. But then again, I'll need to make sure to give you a proper answer. I'll follow up with the team at China Telecom to ensure that I give the community a proper answer. I hope that is okay for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for actually responding. And I'll wait for the follow-up, maybe from the World Mobile channels, or I can add you here in Twitter, and maybe we can chat more.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, sorry. Off to Micky. Just piggybacking on that, Micky, you said about the eSIM and the Rare Evo. Do we have any plans as World Mobile to brand the eSIM a little bit differently? Maybe with a W in front, the WeSIM?
I like it. We do. Mike has been left with the audacious task of making sure that this is a globally appealing brand. The eSIM is not only for domestic USA, but also for the world. And for everywhere else, we have an air node. The beauty of the eSIM is that when you pass an air node, no matter which spectrum it's running, you automatically connect to it without having to actually connect to it. So, and other people who are carrying the same profiles and of our partners will automatically connect to our air nodes. Air Evo should be a fantastic event for us. You could almost say a soft launch for the eSIM and a demonstration of our infrastructure and what Operation Air Node is going to do in the venue itself.
Oh yeah, I'll be there for that. Thanks, Micky. And I have one last one for Antonio, if everybody will allow me. Antonio, sorry, I can't let you go that easily. I have a question basically about the value-added services and the mainnet Lite. Is there a plan to have any of those value-added services added or tested on that phase, or is that going to be, after the first iteration of the mainnet Lite?
It's going to be after the first iteration. But we want to do it as soon as possible because value-added services are one of the most exciting features of the chain. So, yeah, expect it to be released after the first iteration, but not too long after. We want to be working first on the basic infrastructure of the chain, and then the next objective and the focus will be on the value-added services.
Okay, so the plan is for us in the private testnet that we're getting to test that first before it goes to the public mainnet Lite?
Yeah, the same procedure applies.
Okay.
We always test everything in our internal testnet, then it goes to the private testnet, and then once the main bugs are out, it goes to the public testnet. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for letting me ask all these questions. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
asking.
you. Welcome.
Looking forward to
That
seeing
might be
you
a-
at Air Evo.
Thank you, Alex. I might be reaching out for more brand names soon. Next up, we've got Fugazi. Are you still there? Hey.
Hello. Hi.
Love the PFP. Van Gogh.
Hey, how are you guys? I hope everyone is doing well. I've been following you guys for a while, and I gotta say, you guys are literally writing down history here. and I'm very, very much excited about what Conflux has to offer, especially when it comes to bringing the Chinese people on board crypto. Like, this is literally the future. What we see here. We are all early. I'm super happy that I've been pointed out to both World Mobile projects and Conflux by a friend of mine. And yeah, I actually live in Africa, and when it comes to Ledger, just so you guys know, it's not available in most of the continents. And hearing the BSIM tech and the idea behind it, and what Chris said earlier about the fact that the SIM cards are still in high demand, especially in the third world countries. That's actually a fact, because a lot of people still relate to them, especially like the older generations. Like, especially me, I'm only 26 year old, and I gotta say, like, I've lived my entire childhood with the SIM card. And if I have to trust anything, I will trust a SIM card rather than a ledger, to be honest. Yeah, and the recovery steps is also like interesting. When you have a KYC SIM card, you can recover your SIM card easily, which is very, very interesting, to be honest. You like you will be safe at every given time, and I will be the first one to buy these SIM cards for me and my entire family once they come out. Thank you very much.
Where do you live in Africa, in the continent?
I live in Morocco.
Salam, Habibi.
Yeah, salam, bro. How are you?
Yeah, good. It shouldn't be long before you can take one of the eSIMs with the DID and the settlement and roll with it with your family.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, I'll say it times. An eSIM is just a SIM. So if we can make you an eSIM, we can always send you a plastic SIM if we have to. We obviously prefer not to post things around the world, but an eSIM is a SIM.
Thank you,
It's very
Fugazi.
special.
Next up, we've got intellectual honesty.
That's a good name.
Is that me? No.
Intellectual honesty, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, there was a delay.
Great to have you.
Hey, great to be here. Thank you guys for everything you guys do. I did join this call late, so apologies if I'm asking something that's already been asked. But just talking about Africa. So I've got family in Nigeria, and in the last year, the currency has devalued greatly, shall we say. I think it's about 100% towards the pound and the dollar. So one sort of value-added services I think sort of we desperately need over there is just the ability to hold a stable coin in a wallet, and preferably a US stable coin or a British stable coin for those people looking to sort of protect their value. And obviously make payments if you're on or send cash. So the question really is there going to be the ability with a sort of World Mobile value-added services, whether it's a SIM card or whether it's an account on World Mobile to hold a SIM card, or sorry, to hold a stable coin?
This is something very close to my heart. First, to answer your question, stablecoins can be held in jurisdictions that they're regulated. So if it's regulated and if we're allowed to, absolutely yes, the World Mobile Wallet will support it. If it's not, then no, we will not promote it. Africa has always been a place where people have actually bought top-ups, mobile data top-ups and telecom card top-ups before the internet was particularly popular, as a store of value, because you buy it and it still retains almost the same value as the same day you bought it. So some people will buy $1,000 worth of telecom vouchers or $1,000 worth of top-up vouchers, knowing that it won't deflate or inflate It will always stay the same. So we've got a few tricks up our sleeve that are a little bit more complex, but just as effective as that. Not just for the African market, but for the world market.
That is very smart, actually, and you're absolutely right in what you say about buying SIM cards to store value. I mean, it's crazy that people seemingly have to do that. But yeah,
it is crazy. It's as we get more internet, as we have more people with technology in their hands, I believe things will change. But unfortunately, the continent of Africa is in deep trouble when it comes to the local currencies. So we're looking to fight that fight and to support as much as we can. Of course, we wish and would like that each country would allow us to promote and use of the stablecoins, whether it be GBP, USD, or a local coin. But the reality is people still don't really understand crypto, the benefits, and the banking systems are very scared. But again, we've got a few tricks up our sleeve. We've been in this industry for a very long time. And